Let's get this show started! But the Woodley Burns match is a fight that we really wanted to make. Gilbert Burns has been on an absolute tear. He's undefeated at this weight since he went to 170. He's 3-0. He's got 8 wins by submission, 6 by knockout, 10 first-round finishes, and beat Damian Maia, which is a big deal. So, this kid's on fire right now. Him and Woodley should be fun. Yeah, and he matches up very well against Woodley, and this should be a really, really fun fight, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I know we want to keep the focus on May 30th, but a lot of buzz about Jon Jones potentially moving up to heavyweight, wants Francis Ngannou. Does that whet your appetite at all, that potential booking down the line?
Jon Jones versus Ngannou?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously that's a fight that people would love to see, and these guys are talking a lot of smack back and forth. I don't see that fight happen.
Yeah.
I don't see that fight happen.
So 170 pounds, just so good right now. I mean, so many interesting players in that top 10. Of course, Jorge Masvidal is all the rage, Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, and they're all chasing Kamaru Usman. I'd imagine from the promoter's seat, you feel pretty good about the outlook at 170 pounds right now.
Yeah, 170-pound division is awesome right now. Any of those guys fighting each other is an incredible fight. You could do Masvidal, Covington. You could do Woodley, Covington, Woodley, Masvidal, Edwards versus any of them. And all 4 of those guys versus Usman is fun.
is there a bigger fight right now from a business point of view than putting Jorge Masvidal and Conor McGregor in an octagon together to fight for that BMF belt?
No, absolutely not. Not unless you're getting Henry Cejudo and Marlon Moraes to fight The Rock or something. That is the fight to make.
Could happen.
That's the fight to make. I mean, like, Masvidal's emerged out of nowhere. Like, we all know who Masvidal is and was and has been back in the day. I remember watching those old street fighting videos before I even saw him fighting MMA. Like, he's slowly and quietly become a cult figure, and then all of a sudden he's emerged very quickly recently. Nate Diaz, obviously, you know, he kind of became a cult figure in his brother's shadow, who was also a cult figure. Conor McGregor has carved his own groove out of this. Like, what we got from Nate Diaz against Conor McGregor, I can only think it would be better with Masvidal, because Masvidal's got that calm confidence. There's no like kind of aggro ego getting in the way that you see with Nate Diaz. Like, Nate Diaz gets genuinely upset and offended, and that's why McGregor likes to mess with him so much. Whereas the banter back and forth between two guys that hold their own space so well in Masvidal and McGregor, and I mean that's a clash of titans, is what that is. That would be an absolutely incredible fight, and I think, you know, I mean, Masvidal is absolutely going to take him seriously, but he's also going to look at it as a stop off on the way to the welterweight title as well. Like, he's going to look at that as similar to the Nate Diaz fight. Because I was literally, like, you can go back on my Instagram and watch where I was as Masvidal walked out. He literally walked past me as he was walking out to the octagon, like, and just the calmness on his face. It was like he'd seen the movie before and he knew what was going to happen. It's like, oh, I love this scene. You know what I mean? It was like he already knew what was going to happen. He knew that Nate Diaz was his to beat 10 times out of 10. Like, there wasn't a day of the week where Nate Diaz beats Masvidal. It wasn't. I mean, it was a fun fight, but it just, in my mind, wasn't really a competitive one, unless Masvidal really slipped up and allowed Nate to just start to wear him down. But he's going to look at Conor the same. He's going to look at Conor like, okay, this guy's got a finite gas tank. I know that once he's thrown that left-hand rocket a few times, that he's going to start to drop off, and he'll just play that relaxed game like he did against Nate, where he's like cruising at 70%. I think it's a fascinating fight, but I mean, that's a step up for McGregor. That's a real test. Like, Masvidal's an old veteran with a lot of tricks in his game and a lot of ways to manipulate his opponent, and he would be very, very difficult for McGregor to get inside his head.
Real quick, Anthony, did you ever get your teeth back from Jason Herzog, or did he walk out with a souvenir in his pocket?
He did give them back.
Okay.
I put them under my pillow in Florida, and the tooth fairy brought me $60. I really wish I was joking, but I'm not. I woke up yesterday morning with $60 under my pillow. It's not a joke.
You got the most generous tooth fairy I've ever heard. So was it your wife? Was it a teammate?
It was my wife and kids.
Okay. That's awesome.
No, here's the problem. My kids are still all losing teeth. So my daughter lost a tooth last night, and now she's expecting $60.
That's genius. Your daughters are diabolical, evil, capitalistic geniuses. Like, let's just set the standard super high. Like, what if it was like a ticket to Disneyland under there?
I seen dolphins yesterday. Random. We chartered some 75-year-old lady, super, super nice old lady. It was like $400 or something for like half a day before we got on our flight. She said something like, oh, I hope you girls can see some dolphins. Sure as shit. We like hung out with dolphins for like 2 hours. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Nice to know things are returning to normal in the Smith household, you know?
Got $60. I seen some dolphins. It was incredible.